Hello, my name is Chase Wilson. I'm a senior consultant here at Sterling. Today with me is Kevin Wilson, my father, the CEO of Sterling, and we're going to be talking about managing your finances for a small business. And the topic today is going to be really determining staff pay. And we're going to start with entry level all the way to the top professional. So what do you have to say about that? I mean, determining staff pay.
It's a great subject. A lot of people, a lot of business owners I've talked to definitely want to pay their staff well, and they should pay them well. But you've got to look at it backwards to figure it out. In other words, like when you look at somebody's pay, you've got to look at, well, what can they do first? What production can they get out? Now let's take a billable person first. If a billable person can bill $500 a week, well, you couldn't pay him $500 a week, could you? Right? So it's 5 to 10 times what you're going to pay him. If you're going to pay him $500 a week, then they have to bill out $2,500 a week. In other words, you can receive from your customers $2,500 worth of services, receipts, things of this sort, right? So when you're looking at somebody's pay, and this is one of the main reasons that minimum wage will not work when it gets so high, because if minimum wage goes up to, let's say, $20 an hour, that's $800 a week, right, on a 40-hour week, and then that's $40,000 a year minimum, a little bit more actually. Well, then they have to produce they got to bring back into the business $200,000 worth of revenue, right, as minimum, or 10 times that, which is what? $400,000, right? Is that right? $400,000 worth of revenue. So that's how you start to gauge somebody's pay, is what advantage are they having for the business, and not like, people look at it backwards. When I said backwards, what I mean is they look at, well, what do I need to survive? What do I need to pay my bills? Instead of looking at, well, what do I have to do actually for the business so that it's affordable for me to be at the business, so the business actually makes a profit and actually can survive. Because it's not just making a profit, it takes the 5 times. And that's just a magic number in payroll, just a magic number for people. Whatever the pay is going to be for people, you need to expect 5 times that back, at least 5 times. Now, 10 times is even better, right? Of course it's better. And I have employees that do 10 times what I pay them, and they're the highest paid employees, isn't that funny? It's like, wow, they give me 10 times back, and they're the highest paid. How does that work? Well, because they produce that much, right? And they still get 6-figure income, but they can produce that much back. So when you're looking at somebody's pay, and this really brings to light, there's different minimum wages all over the country. So, but it really brings to light, like, okay, well, what is it that I should be paying this person? It gets it in the right perspective. And talking about pay and staff wages and things, you got to put it in perspective. What is the perspective of it? What's the viewpoint here? You have to sit down and figure out, okay, what can this person do? Let's take an assistant, right? Let's take a dental assistant even. All right, so without that assistant, what's the dentist having to do, right? He makes about $500 an hour minimum, sometimes $1,000 an hour with his work, right? All right, so if that assistant can save him 2 hours a day in what he would have to do, that's worth $1,000 to $2,000 a day. What's 1/5 or 1/10 of that? You see, and that's what you could pay an assistant. You see, so you can figure it out. A receptionist, same thing. Like, okay, how much time is that saving a billable person, or how much time is that saving delivery? Because all you've got in an organization is sales, delivery, and then administration. There's only 3 types of positions. So it takes a bit of figuring out when you're getting into positions that are not just strictly billable, but it can be figured out. So since that's the biggest expense for a small business is payroll, right? Staff expenses. You really got to be smart with it, and you really got to know what you're doing, because in one other sense, you may need to be paying somebody more because they're doing 20 times maybe what their pay is, and maybe they need a bonus to keep them around, or to make their job more tenable.
And there you have it. Thank you, Kevin. Some great advice there, and we'll see you later.